For example, speaking German. I cannot stress this enough with other people that it's so important to learn German if you want to survive here. Well, like I said, I'm doing ADHD with my life choices. So I really have so many options in my mind. You made it here so far because you had some qualifications, and you will make it farther if you work hard enough.
Welcome to Voices of Anhalt, where we are trying to make your voices heard. And by we, I'm referring to the International Office of Anhalt University of Applied Sciences. And by you, we're referring to our international students, international alumni, graduates, and international experts. So we're here today for the second episode. My name is Anne. I'm the director of the International Office, and next to me is Florian.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2. We're glad we're back, and we continue to talk to you. So, today our guest is Farhana. Farhana, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm Farhana. I'm from Bangladesh. Thank you so much for inviting me to the Voices of Anhalt. It's really a pleasure that you chose me as the next candidate.
So you reached out to us. What made you reach out?
I am the kind of person who really likes doing extracurricular activities since I was a child, especially after I was in high school. That's when I actually started. So if you see my CV, like there's so many things I did. Like I was cosplaying, I was volunteering.
Cosplaying as what? Now I'm interested.
Anime characters.
Okay, which one?
I did Juvia from Fairy Tale.
Okay.
And I did one anime that's not that popular, but like that was my first one. It had blue hair and umbrella. From that, like kind of like I'm doing ADHD with my life. I'm doing all the things together at the same time.
And is cosplay a big thing in Bangladesh, or?
When I started out, it was getting popular just then, but now it's a very regular thing. We have conventions, we have like expos, and it's quite popular now.
You decided to come to the podcast. What made you find the podcast? How did you hear about us? Because we're always interested in our audience and how our audience finds us, because we're, in our baby steps so far. It's our second episode, so we're trying to understand how our marketing works.
I see. I got your email from the Outlook email that we check from the student email. And I check every email.
The one that I sent to all international students.
Yeah.
Yes.
I happen to check every email. I love getting letters and emails. I read everything.
Then you're a very rare unicorn. I have the feeling sometimes that our international students only rarely check upon their university email. Yeah.
It's okay, like 50-50, I would say. Important ones, they never miss, but I guess the ones that are like advertisement or some speaking or something, those are the ones people tend to avoid. Even now, I have come to the conclusion to know that which type of email I'm going to avoid and which I'm not going to avoid. And yours was a bit different, and I read the whole thing, and I was like, okay, that looks interesting. Let me just write them back and see what...
We made it. Yes.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
So what is it that you do in Dessau? What are you studying? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your studies here?
I'm doing my master's in architectural and cultural heritage. I'm almost done. I've finished 85 credits, and now my thesis is going to be next summer. Currently, I'm on a semester break right now. I had a lot of reasons to take this break, and I thought okay, this should be a good way also to use this time to actually get some self-development. For example, speaking German.
Important.
Very important, I would say. I cannot stress this enough with other people that it's so important to learn German if you want to survive here.
So did you actually take a Urlaubssemester, vacation semester?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the reason?
My parents, they're both sick, not severely sick, but my father was diagnosed with tuberculosis last year. And then my mother was recently also diagnosed with fatty liver. They needed proper treatment plan, and also they needed some help with in Bangladesh. So I'm thinking of flying back after 2 years I'm here. I haven't seen them. and they need
So you
some
haven't
support.
been back so far.
No.
You're planning to go.
Yes.
Just be aware of the fact that as an international student, your residency depends on your studies. And you're allowed to have a vacation semester.
Yeah.
There needs to be good reason. You also need to, in case the foreigners office asks, you need to document this. You're not allowed to leave Germany longer than 6 months. Also, if you want to extend your vacation semester to a second one, it's better to come and talk to the international office, because the purpose of 16B temporary residency is studies. And if you're taking a break from your studies, you're risking questions and follow up from the foreigners office. Yeah. And there are stricter ones who will take a second look at your case. So that's something international students should be aware of. When applying for vacation semesters, there's a limit to everything. You're not as free as German students, where it's just about how much time you spend studying. Yeah.
So you said that you study in Dessau. Does that also mean that you live in Dessau?
Yeah, I live actually inside the campus.
Inside in a dormitory?
Yes.
And how many people do you share like an apartment with?
So I live in a shared apartment. So I have 2 other girls living with me. One roommate comes from India, another one comes from Nepal. Like my dormitory, the one that I live in, is quite smaller compared to the other one. Like there are 2 dormitories. The one that's kind of far away in Brauerstrasse, that's more bigger with more buildings. Mine is just 1 building.
Was it difficult getting a dormitory slot? Because, you know, a lot of international students, they come here and they think about, how do I find accommodation? So how far in advance did you apply for this?
I applied 1 year before I actually got in.
Wow.
Okay.
Maybe that's why I also got lucky, because the dormitory that I got, it's very lucky to live inside the campus and everything is nearby and the rent is very affordable. And my kitchen view is the view of the Bauhaus building.
Oh, that's awesome.
Everything is close by. The Bahnhof is like 5 minutes walk away. So my workplace is also close. Everything is just perfect. I got really lucky with my dorm, but I had to apply 1 year before. That's something.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
What was your first impression when you got to Dessau?
It was kind of like, well, coming to Germany doing this master's was like a big manifestation for me, because like there is a visa complication. We can talk about this later. Like I had to wait a really long time to come here. I knew that Dessau is my campus and I'm going to come here. And I was just in my mind, like, it was nothing like I pictured, of course. You have one image and then you see something else. It's just not in a bad way. It's just different. And when I first landed, I was like, okay, finally I'm here. Okay, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. This is where I wanted to be. This is my city. Finally, I'm here. Thank God.
Do you come from like a big city in Bangladesh or a small village or?
I come from the capital, Dhaka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's how many? Like 15 million or so?
20 million.
20 million compared to Dessau, which is 50,000?
No,
or so?
80,000.
80,000.
80,000. So what did you think about this comparison? Like, was it like a complete culture shock for you, or did you actually enjoy the silence? Or
I come from the most densely populated country in the world. So you can imagine there are sounds all the time. Even when you're sleeping, like I was so used to the sound that when I first came to Dessau and I was living with a friend for the first week. It felt like even the silence has a noise and I could feel it. And it was very odd for me. Like there was some kind of sensual thing happening in my ears. It was very strange. But then I got used to it and I was walking around, seeing around. It's so quiet. There are not many people. And especially the Sundays, it looks like it's COVID again. So no one is on the streets. Even the houses, if I look at the windows, I don't really see people.
yeah.
It feels like everybody just went on a vacation somewhere or something. That's what it felt like. But now it feels very, very normal now that I'm settled in.
You said that you're studying architecture and cultural heritage. How did you decide for this program?
I did Bachelor's of Architecture.
So the decision for architecture and cultural heritage, I mean, how did that come about?
One of the biggest reasons is that I have a friend here who's also doing the master's, and she's pretty good in this, and she had a very good result, and she was very passionate about it. And she's an artist also, so I was really following what she was doing, and I was kind of close with her as well. It was kind of like I was following her footsteps, and I'm also very interested in history, culture, and art especially. So I thought that, okay, I saw the courses they have very important, that you need to look at the courses, what kind of subjects they're actually teaching you. And it felt like, okay, this actually aligns with me because I really like history, I really like heritage and culture, I really like older buildings rather than the modern architecture.
But you didn't want to become an architect.
Becoming an architect was kind of an accident, I would say. But it was...
That's how most careers start.
Yeah, that was I would say, fitting accident. Now I look back and honestly, I don't think I would fit anywhere else other than doing a bachelor's in architecture because of the lifestyle and the way it is, like the way the whole degree works. I felt like it was fitting for me. I could never study medicine, but that's just me. Like, I could never study medicine. I could never be an engineer and give all those exams and do labs and stuff. Like, it's not for me. But architecture was just perfect. These masters were more decided, well decided. Yeah, this is what the subject is like, and then I'm gonna try and do this so I know what I want. Doing my bachelor's at the beginning, it was more like I really didn't know what I want, but now I really know that what my passion is and what I will do next.
So have you always wanted to study abroad, or was this like an opportunity that you seized? And why Germany?
During my bachelor's, I didn't want to come abroad. I wanted to do a bachelor's in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, especially like in a public university, because the campus and the lifestyle is very different. Being in a public university means a lot of competition, and I couldn't get into any public universities. So I ended up with a private one, which cost a lot of money. But it was a good university, even though it was private. It was pretty good. During my bachelor's, I decided that, okay, what kind of career path do I want? And by the fourth year, I was pretty much decided that, okay, I don't want to do architecture anymore. Maybe that's not me. Maybe architecture is not just working in a farm and designing interior or exterior buildings. It's so much options, so much you can do with that one degree. Yeah. And I thought that maybe I can do something different, because I feel like the kind of creativity I have, it can come with something else. I can put it into a better place or something that I'm passionate about, and I can get a better outcome. Considering that, that's why I chose the degree, because like it's a hybrid degree, right? Kind of like a hybrid, because it's not strictly architecture. It can be archaeological. Even students from history can come in and join with us, or civil engineers, for example.
Or if you're interested in cultural heritage
as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell by comparing to your classmates, they all have architectural backgrounds, or are there some that come from completely different backgrounds in their bachelor's degree?
No, I would say a lot of the people come from civil engineering, but the rest is architecture, mostly architecture, but the rest is civil engineering. I haven't met someone who has like a degree in archaeology or history, for example.
Voices of Anhalt is a podcast produced by the International Office of Anhalt University of Applied Sciences. If you would like to find out more about the International Career Service or our FITTER project, please write an email to fitter@hs-anhalt.de. Talk to you soon.
So backtracking your earlier statement, why Germany, and what kind of visa struggles did you face?
The reason why I chose Germany is very obvious one: no tuition fee. So I come from a very, very middle class family, and kind of like I already studied in a private university that cost a lot of money. So money was a very big issue since I wanted to come here. I think it's, for me and someone who comes from the South Asian region, money is always like a issue. And I wanted to be somewhere, like first I was thinking Canada, but Canada costs a lot of money. This is just what it is. Germany had no tuition fee, had great programs, multiple options, English taught programs altogether. And also like the economy, at least I would consider in Europe one of the best. If I wanted to have a career here later on, there are options that I can do. So I thought that, okay, Germany might be the right fit for me. And I had opportunities to go to Italy or Finland also. I also got a half scholarship in Finland, but I didn't end up going there because the students that were there, in the Bangladeshi students, they always struggle with finding a job, or like financially, they're always saying like, if you want to come to Finland, you should really take backup for 6 months to 1 year, some money that I don't have.
So you would say that like the community or the exchange of information between people you already know from Bangladesh
Mm-hmm.
played an important role in your decision?
I would say so because like we have Facebook groups. They're like big communities, 100K, 1 million people in these groups, and they are always exchanging information with each other. Germany has very big groups, like 2 or 3 groups that are very popular. Same for Finland, same for Italy. Like all the students that want to come and study, they share and exchange information all the time. So those are the things that help me, even for the groups that are for Germany, the students that are coming, they share the information. They helped me all the way to come to Germany. I would definitely say so because all the information they exchanged, how they did it, all the process are written step by step. So they really helped me.
So you said in the beginning that your process of coming to Germany was a bit of a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it. What happened?
After COVID, the German embassy said that we had a really big gap and we have a lot of applications and we need to process it. So we need more time to process this. And slowly the time became more and more longer. So when I applied for my visa, they said that you have a 1 year waiting period to get that visa, to actually face the embassy, like have an interview. I knew that there was a waiting period, so I took the visa appointment prior, like way beforehand. And then I got my offer letter for Anhalt like in July. And then I kept renewing my admission every semester. Like I did it 3 times probably. So in the end, they said 1 year, but I had to wait 2 years. And after 2 years, I got my visa. And after I came here, it got more and more longer. And now it's like 3 years, close to 3 years. And the embassy has stopped taking new appointments because they want to finish the ones they have right now. Then they will take new appointments.
Okay.
And it's very, very slow. And I feel like it's so unfair to a student's career because a master's takes 2 years to finish. And if I have to wait 2 years to come and then do my master's, it's just insane, honestly.
I remember back in the day, post-COVID, we still had to hand out vaccination certificates to students individually. All the data we processed.
It feels like a different world now, doesn't it?
Really. Sometimes I wonder. Because one could also just adjust the amount of staff members that embassies have. Some embassies also use private service providers in order to handle all the caseloads. I'm wondering why it takes longer each year to process all applicants. Most certainly, certain countries have a lot of requests from students who want to come to Germany.
I would always say that the Bangladeshi student would always opt for an English-speaking country because that's like our second language. Everybody speaks English.
Yeah.
That's much easier. So in Europe, America, Canada, Australia, UK, always a popular destination.
But expensive.
But expensive. I would definitely say very expensive. The students that come from a middle-class family, they would go for Italy, Germany, or sometimes Finland now as well. But it's getting more and more tough for everybody, I would say, because like the pressure, I think everybody wants to kind of, after their graduation, wants to do a master's or want to get out of the country. Depends on the world politics and more depressing situations as well. The waiting period in the German embassy, I feel like it's also probably a bit well thought. And that's why it's a bit more lengthier than usual. Right now, I know that it's very long in Bangladesh and Nigeria. It was very lengthy for Pakistan as well, but now it's not that much anymore. And our neighboring country, like India, they wait 3 months maximum.
But they also have the APS to get through. There's a whole intermediate organization they have to provide their documents to, and that also lengthens the process. Do you feel like your study program is preparing you well for the German labor market?
One thing is very good is that we have 10 credit German courses. So we learn German twice a week. I wouldn't say it's very super intensive. It puts you under a lot of pressure, but it's good practice if you go to that class twice a week and you're talking in German. you're hearing German. So that's actually helping you. So in that case, the language is really helping you. And there are some really good courses as well, some really great professors, and also students that want to come and like stay here for long term. I feel like students that are from MAG, they are doing actually pretty good. They're taking some time, they're learning the language, they're applying for jobs, and they're more career focused, I would say.
Do you want to stay here long term?
I'm thinking about it since I'm learning the language and everything. And I have been working here also for more than a year now. Yeah, so that's actually also had a very positive impact on me, because whenever I worked in architectural environments, for example, I didn't have that positive experience, but that was in Bangladesh. But here, the places I've worked and the experiences I got, I felt like can have a very great impact on me.
Tell us about your experiences. Where did you work? Which different companies? That's what the students are always interested in. How did you find the job?
It's very interesting. I work as a manager for a hostel in Dessau.
Okay.
It used to be previously called Club Hostel. Now it's called Wandery. The owners were four friends. They got together and they started to get their own hostel. And they were thinking, they got this building, the previously owned by Club Hostel, and they started Wandery. And they were not even that sure at the point when I applied for the job. They were not sure if they need an employee. They know that they needed an employee, but they were not sure because they were just starting and they were planning and they were doing things together. And it's a small business at that point.
But how did you find this?
I was basically on the street with my CV and going everywhere and giving my CV.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Did you use a German CV or was it in English?
I don't remember, right? It was in English, I think. But I can't exactly remember if I translated or not. I think it's in English because the CV that I had back was in English. I was going to like cafes or restaurants and places that doesn't really need that much German, but also like everywhere I could think of. I was also applying online in LinkedIn and Stepstone and Indeed, but also I think I was in person applying, and that's what it made an impact because I was there. They could see me in person. They had an impression already, like what I speak like, what I look like. Do I look capable enough or not? Like with a piece of paper, you can't really tell until you have an interview. So I think an impression is also something that matters.
It also shows dedication and effort.
Yes, definitely, because a lot of people would probably not build up the courage to do this without, speaking a lot of German. So I'm actually impressed. And then they said, okay, you can start on Monday, or how did it happen?
When I went there, one of our boss, Daniel, he was just outside. He was inside in the cafe. He was working on something. So I just entered the hostel, and I was not exactly sure what kind of business this is. I just...
Did you assume something nefarious was happening? Or
Well, they had like a poster and everything, so I was just like, okay, let's see what it is. And I said, like, I tried to speak in German, and I said I'm a student here and I'm looking for a part-time job, and I'm learning German. But do you have something that I can work on, maybe? And he said, vielleicht.
maybe.
And he said we exchanged numbers, and he said that he passed me down to another boss of mine, and he's the one who introduced me to the whole building and told me what took an interview, what I can do, what needs to be done and everything. And it was an international environment because the owners themselves are not German. One of them come from Ukraine, one comes from England. Right now, our current boss, he's from Russia, but he's been living in Germany for a really long time. Yeah. And then another one comes from Switzerland. They all used to work together, and then they decided they want to have their own hostel. So that's how they started their business in Dessau. And I got very lucky.
Yeah. And what is it that you do at the hostel?
So Wonder is a digital hostel, so we don't have a reception. Everything is done online. Okay. So everything is pin code system. So you put the pins and then you enter. And I answer the messages. All the messages come together to one server, and then if it's coming from WhatsApp or email, doesn't matter. All are coming to me through that message.
That sounds like the perfect student job. Do you also work from home?
Yeah, I also work from home. So I can work from home, but also I need to be there and supervise because we have staff there and that needs to get their work done. I need to make sure everything is clean, everything is organized. I have to keep track of for example, the linens or the supplies that are needed. Every type of supply. It doesn't matter if you're missing like a detergent in the laundry or maybe a toilet paper in one of the toilets. It's my responsibility to make sure that it's there. But I make sure that people who are supposed to be doing this are doing this right, and then I'm keeping track of that.
So you're supervising already while studying. Was it difficult to handle your studies? Is it a part-time job or?
It's a part-time job. It was, at least the last 2 semesters, I would say it was kind of tough. I kind of like tried to lower down the pressure, but I have another work in the Student Service Center in Dessau, SSC. But that's something I work like 12 hours per month. So I can just go there once a week and do some helping around, like copying or organizing some files or something. So 2 jobs and then study, then it becomes a lot. And then I really love socializing and hanging out with my friends. I want to do everything together, and then it becomes so overwhelming so fast.
But that's a good point, and I get this question a lot from international students. Do we have any part-time jobs at the university? Is the library hiring? How did you find that job at the SSC?
I also went there.
Seriously, that listen, guys out there, that's how you do it. You just go there and ask.
I mean, yeah, just show up and ask, but also like maintain the respect. And I talked to Sebastian Krug. He left SSC a few months after I joined, and he already like sent out emails, but apparently most of the students missed it somehow.
That's what I was talking about regarding emails.
Yes, keep checking your emails or you miss out on good opportunities.
Sometimes there are job postings on our university website. You can, usually it's the Stellenportal of the university, so the open position database. Probably you can Google it, and the library posts their position there. Also, currently our quality management is looking for student helpers. International office also sometimes looking for student aides.
And that is an environment where I would assume you practice your German?
No, everybody speaks English there. But in my other job, the one that I work as a manager in, I talk to the guests in German. The house master is German, and he doesn't speak any English, so I have to speak to him in German. And at the beginning, like he used to call me, and I would panic that he's calling me.
Yeah.
So I would talk to him, just make very simple conversation, and then I would tell him like, "Can you please write me what you're saying?" And then he would write me. But now we can speak a little bit better over the phone, and now it's okay. But I think it's the confidence. Like somehow it's overwhelming and it's really stressful and scary. And now, especially, I'm emphasizing more on learning the language. I think I can make simple conversations, but I feel like I really need to be better, because I feel like nobody would want me in an office if I didn't know how to speak to them properly. If you're in an interview, they want to see your personality. Are you a really great fit? Are you a character that fits this office? So I cannot really do that. I can be myself in English, but I cannot be myself in German. So it really creates a pressure on
So
me.
apart from the German classes that are offered in the MAC as courses, did you do any other kind of German classes, like at the language school or with an online teacher?
Right now, since I'm on a break, I cannot take classes anymore. So I'm taking private lessons from someone online.
And how are you handling the tax situation with having 2 jobs? Usually in German you can have a mini job, then you don't have to pay
Social security contributions and taxes, but if you combine the 2 jobs, then you might exceed the threshold.
Oh, I have not, because I have fixed 80 hours per month with my part-time job, and with SSC it's 12 hours per month, so it's much lower than a mini job, because in mini job you work 40 hours per month, and I'm working only 12. So I wouldn't really consider it mini job, and
it depends overall how much hours you work. And usually if you report to us that you have a different job, then our HR department will put you in a different tax bracket. And then out of your 12 hours that you get paid, you would have to pay quite a steep amount of taxes. So I was wondering whether...
As far as I'm aware, I'm tax class 1. and I checked with my papers and everything. It's still tax plus
When
one.
you extended your visa at the foreigners office, did the part-time job also help to replace part of your blocked account, for example?
For me, I showed them money, but for my friend who has like she's doing a student job, work student, and she showed her job contract, and that was fine for her.
That's good because that's what a lot of students out there always struggle with, getting the money for the blocked account and finding a part-time job. But regarding part-time jobs in Dessau, do you think that the situation overall is acceptable for international students, or is Dessau lacking jobs for international students?
I would say it's definitely lacking jobs because most of the international students usually work in jobs that doesn't really require them to speak. So mostly physical labor. Right now, most of the students are working with job agent or
Job agency, yeah,
yeah.
that's like a temporary employment agency.
So I know students who have been working there for months or years now, but even for them, I feel like something has happened and students are not really getting that much jobs anymore as much as they used to. When I came here, at least for the first 6 months, I did it myself 1 month. I worked for the job agent. I did like 8 shifts with them. That was my first job ever.
How does that work? You sign up to this agency and then they tell you come on Monday to work at this company.
Yeah, come on to this city. They have a company there or a factory there, and then
do you have to get there on your own, or do they transport you, or?
Sometimes they transport you, depends on if it's a tough situation, then they give you a car and like it's a lot of students coming together and then a driver takes them somewhere. Or most of the time you take a train and then there's a car and then they take you, or you just walk.
And those are mainly factory jobs where you
More mainly factory jobs, yes.
please be aware that you always need to watch out for good employers and that you adhere to job safety regulations. Sometimes students report that they work too many hours. They don't have the necessary shoes that you need to work on in those factories. And we have students who reported to us that sometimes they end up in desolate situations where the employer doesn't care, and it's just this agency that pushes them into different jobs. So you need to watch out for yourself and also make sure that you're safe if you work these kind of factory jobs. Like if it's a huge bakery and you don't have the right gloves and the necessary protection, because in Germany you do have certain rights, even if you're just a temporary staff. They still need to make sure that you're safe. I hope students are aware that they can also report these kind of situations, and if they need help with that, we can point them in the right direction.
I agree. Exploited and unsafe, both would go hand in hand, because like students had rough experiences. They were not treated well during their shifts in their factories. Someone was being mean to them. Someone said very...
So do you know some of those examples?
Yes, I know some of those examples. Like they were not treated well. Someone yelled at them, shouted at them, screamed at them. And they didn't know what this person is saying because like you don't really speak that language. Also, there are sometimes like factory workers who are permanent employees. They're kind to you sometimes, but there are also people who are very rude to you. I know for a situation with a friend, she had some kind of disagreement with someone and now they don't call her anymore because she didn't agree to do something she was not comfortable with. So these are the kind of situations that's why people are really afraid to say no. I don't know if I really need the money, and I really don't know if they're going to call me or not if I disagree or if I show some attitude. Especially if I know that there are students who really, really need money and they're always looking for jobs. So it's like a very sentimental issue as well. Like working opportunity, it's survival. In these cases, if I was in that situation, I would definitely not say no. I would definitely say yes and do what they want me to do.
Yeah. That's a situation that we're aware of and that we're trying to help people understand, that there are not always nice employers out there and that sometimes you can even be exploited or even be a victim of scam situations, because we had some situations where students, they were taken advantage of. For example, we had one student who was in a similar situation, that he needed to earn money for his blocked account. He found a job online that sounded too good to be true, to be honest, packing and unpacking packages at home. It turns out that the goods that he was packaging and unpackaging were stolen goods that were ordered on the internet with stolen data. So these situations happen, when we do these introductory sessions with students. We urge them that they are suspicious when it comes to job offers that sound too easy or too good to be true.
Yeah.
Because earning money in Germany is, as you said, hard work. And if you find some kind of advertisement on the internet, here is an easy job and you earn so much money, be suspicious about it.
Yeah.
Also check out the company. Yeah, where is it located? Who's responsible? What's the legal status? And we can also help by pointing in the direction where you can report, because you have the option to report this even without giving your identity, and then the authorities will check upon the companies unannounced, so they don't even link it to you personally if you feel exploited or unsafe.
Voices of Anhalt. Voices of Anhalt. So we talked about working in Germany. Do you also have working experience in your home country? And if you compare the way things work in Germany and the way things work in Bangladesh, do you notice any differences?
Well, yeah, I would say so. Mostly I was working freelance when I was in Bangladesh. And one thing that really bothered me, and I know it's an ongoing issue, is that clients don't pay fully. If you do something and they're supposed to pay you immediately after you are done with the work, you submit it, everything's done, but then you have to hang after them, keep on bugging them until they pay you fully. And I remember even 15 or 20 days before coming to Germany, I was still bugging one of my clients for money. And he was angry at me because I was asking way too much at that point, kind of pressurizing him because I'm leaving and I need that money right now. That's one thing. Another thing is the traffic is a factor in Dhaka, also the entire Bangladesh, but in Dhaka, it's a major factor. So if you need to go to work, you need to go there 1 or 2 hours early. And it's not even that long distance. It's just that you never know what kind of situation you're going to end up in traffic.
Yeah.
I don't know, in the roads, if I spend 3 or 4 hours in the road and then I'm working 8 hours, I need to spend some time with my family, or just I want some personal time with my friends.
And that's how your commute was on foot?
I go everywhere by foot, so I really like walking. I hardly take the tram or the bus.
That's always an issue when we're talking with foreign students, the public transport system in Germany, because a lot of people think when they come to Germany everything works, and then the German perspective is actually the opposite. Do you use the train a lot? And we now have the Deutschland ticket, for example. Do you get around in Germany? Did you use this ticket to explore other cities?
Yeah, I travel with my ticket quite a lot, and I like the train. Maybe because I came from a country where the public transportation system was so dysfunctional. I feel like this perfectly works, and if it's okay. It's okay if it's 10 minutes late, doesn't matter. I'm used to worse.
Voices of Anhalt.
Talking about your career, where do you see yourself in 12 months?
In 12 months.
Because you said you would try to be finished.
When I came here, my target was that I wanted to work as a lecturer or a teacher, because I feel like I have that potential. I really like doing presentations.
At a university or school?
At a university. Okay. So I was an English teacher, and I was teaching English to kids in China online. I felt like maybe I have a great potential, so I really wanted to teach in university.
How does one become an English teacher online in China? I've never heard about that constellation. Please tell me. I'm very much interested.
You're looking for a part-time job,
No, but it's a weird combination. You're teaching English to Chinese students. How does that work?
I forgot how I came to this job. I guess probably through some job advertisement or something. So there's an agency or company that has ties with kids in China, and those companies, like Chinese families, really emphasize on their kids to learn English really fast and in a really early stage, because like they really care about their grades and their studies, and it's very, very serious. What I did was like I gave them 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and then there was already a lesson plan, and I would just tell them to read through. There were tasks or games like that's kid friendly.
So is this plan still on to become a lecturer, or have you oriented yourself towards something different?
Well, like I said, I'm doing ADHD with my life choices. So I really have so many options in my mind. The plan to be a lecturer, I'm definitely, when I graduate, I'm gonna try and pursue it, because by then I will have a degree that's actually legit. And then I also right now I'm trying to look more closer to art, culture, and filmmaking. I tried to get some internships as well. I applied to many companies, got so many rejections since September. I'm also applying to museums and art galleries as well, where I can actually work. If I apply now, nobody's going to take me as a curator firsthand. I want to join and enter the scene and probably work my way through. So that's also a plan. Let's see which one works out, but I have multiple plans for myself.
So you've been looking for like these kind of curator positions in like other cities, or is your plan to stay in Dessau?
If I could, I would stay in Dessau for a really long time, because I really like the city. I'm pretty sure not everybody is going to tell you the same thing. I'm very, very
That's
different.
why I'm asking. There was a question with a meaning behind it.
I know a lot of people do not like Dessau because it's a small town, but I feel like Dessau is like the perfect position as a city, because you can go to Berlin with 1.5 hours. You can go to Leipzig in 45 minutes. You can go to Magdeburg in 50 minutes. It's perfect, like commute wise, it's doable. So I'm thinking if I could, like I would stay in Dessau long term, but
Yes, please do so. We need young people, and we need young people like yourself who are, courageous and outspoken.
But basically, you're currently looking for a paid internship position, right?
Not only internship, I would actually switch jobs. Also, my job in SSC is going to be stopped because I'm on a semester break. So there is a lot of free time and a lot of free hours that I can actually use somewhere, and it's not just internship. I will do part-time, full-time, something that can get me started.
If you have the opportunity to do an internship, you need to be paid the minimum wage. Yeah, because it's a voluntary internship. And so it's mandatory that they pay you at least a minimum wage.
Yes.
And also, once you finished your studies, you have the opportunity to do a job-seeking visa for 18 months to find your perfect job position. Even if you want to work yourself up the career ladder.
Yes. The good thing is that last year there's been a change in the law where international students are not bound anymore by the restriction that they have to find a job in the area that their degree is in. So you said that you might want to go into filmmaking. That's possible nowadays. It hasn't always been like this. So you're free to do whatever you like. But how come filmmaking? I mean, that's a pretty different direction when compared to heritage sites, compared to filmmaking. For me, that's like a completely different direction. How come that you made that switch?
Well, when I was almost at the end of my bachelor's and during COVID, I spent most of the time inside of my house. And at one point, I really started to like it. And that time, even before that, I really like watching films, and I really like editing videos and making videos. That really makes me feel good. And I also like taking pictures. And I think I'm not that bad at it. And for architecture, like you work with a lot of softwares. So I know like multiple softwares that can be like for graphic design or video editing, very easy. So maybe I can make that contribution. And also, since I'm in architecture, I have that creative mindset, or at least like the understanding of that creativity. So I feel like I can make that contribution.
Be aware that I would say that in the film industry, a lot of people are self-employed. As international students, you're not allowed to be self-employed.
Yeah.
And once you graduate, you are only like low-key self-employed as possible. You can't start your own business unless you have 2 years experience in a job, and you have a certain level of German, and you have a founding idea or business idea that is qualified enough to be accepted by the necessary departments in the city that talk to the foreigners office. So self-employment is a difficult job subject for international students and also for people who just finished their studies. It's, if you think about it from a residency point of view, if you want to have a temporary residency in Germany, the best option is to be employed and get a job in a company, because after the 18 months of job seeking, you only have the threshold of earning a certain amount of income in order to be allowed to work and continue your stay in Germany. And then it's just 24 months and you can apply for permanent residency. So I would always suggest to our students to be mindful of the industries you choose and also of the opportunities you can seek out. And if you want to have a career in Germany and live here long term, then try to find a company or someone who employs you, because then it's easier.
You also said that it should be minimum wage if I'm doing an apprenticeship or an internship. When I looked up, they want full-time and they will offer you 400 to 500 euros per month. That's basically, I would say, slavery. 400, 500, and then I'm working full-time 40 hours per week.
It would only be legal if your study program has a mandatory internship.
Because then the companies are not obliged to pay minimum wage. They can voluntarily pay you, but then they usually choose something below the minimum wage. So it really depends on whether the job ad says Pflichtpraktikum or freiwilliges Praktikum. So a voluntary internship versus a mandatory internship. That's why most companies are actually more interested in mandatory internships, because they save a lot of money.
Those are not good companies. Like, if you really want to develop your people and make them progress in their career, then usually companies would also offer real internship positions that also pay enough that you can sustain yourself. Because how are you going to sustain yourself? 500 euros. So because you can't work part-time next to your full-time internship. Just be aware that there are rules and regulations, and if you're unsure, then students should always seek out advice.
This is why, like, I'm not limiting myself just to the filmmaking. I have a couple of options that in my hand, and I feel like that I'm good with the managerial position, and this is something I can use anywhere if I want. Just need to know the field properly. Filmmaking, and then also something related to art galleries, museums, and culture. That's also an option, also related to my degree. The list goes on.
Speaking of your degree, do you already have an idea for your master's project?
I was thinking something related to urban design. Right now, since I'm thinking of getting my career closer to museums, art, and history, so maybe I'm thinking I should think of something that's in Europe and that's related to a museum or something. Curatorial projects as well. Initially, I was thinking maybe urban design, something in Bangladesh, develop a certain street and give them a certain kind of look. That's like a design related project. So you can either do research or you can either do design, but that's something I thought of initially. But now I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should go for something that's more curatorial projects.
Voices of Anhalt. In this podcast, of course, we also have a fixed segment that we would like to do, where we ask you some imaginative questions and we would like to get your answers about this. So if you're up for it, there are like 3 or 4 that we can do.
All right.
The first one is what we call the superpower question. I mean, you've been working in Germany, you've been working in Bangladesh. If you could have any superpower to help you with your work, what would it be and how would you use it in a typical workday?
I think we all know the answer is that I could speak the language, any language. Like, it would be so easy if I could speak everybody's language. But right now, I wish, like, magically, I just learned how to speak German. Or like a child, like, they speak so fast and they pick it up so fast. I wish I could have a child's brain on picking up the language.
Maybe in a couple of years, we don't have the need for learning languages anymore when we have like simultaneous translations through AI.
Yeah, I would say that's not impossible. People can like use devices or something that's easy and everybody can just understand everyone.
So you consider being able to speak a language is a superpower?
Pick it up easy and like naturally, in a very short time. Kind of like having photographic memory. I wish I had that because I forget things a lot. So that would be very cool.
Don't you think that would also be sometimes like something like a curse if you can't forget anything?
Yeah, I would say so, because our brains are kind of wired to make us forget, especially the traumatizing things. That's why we cannot recall a lot of memories, because our brains kind of hides those memories. That's a very good coping mechanism as well.
There are some movies out there in the world that I would like to forget that I've seen them. Like, for example,
Are you referring to Twilight?
no, not necessarily, but a lot of these Marvel Studio things.
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
Oh, we're gonna have to bleep you on this. We're gonna get complaints. Move on, please.
The reason I'm asking is we have a second question.
Yeah.
This is what we call the career life movie moment.
Yeah.
The question is, if a movie was made about your life in Germany, what genre would it be? And who would play you in the leading role?
I think it would be a drama for sure. I really like drama genre for movies, and I watch them the most. And I would want Saoirse Ronan, my favorite actress, to play it, because she actually played one movie that was very much like my life.
Which one was it?
Lady Bird. It was very cool. She got an Oscar nomination for it too. It's by Greta.
Everybody's looking at me now, and I'm feeling exposed. But yeah, I don't know it.
Do you know the producer Greta Garwig? She produced Barbie.
Yes.
She produced the same movie with Saoirse Ronan.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Check it out.
I think she would do very good.
And the third question that we have is about music. We call it the music to work by.
Yeah.
What's your go-to playlist or song when you're like working on a problem or working from home? Like, do you listen to music while you work?
I don't listen to music that much. Like, it's been a very long time. I just stopped listening to music. I discovered BTS at the beginning of last year, and I really love them. Do you like BTS as well?
Well, I've heard about it, but it's not my kind of music.
I think the music by BTS really helped me, especially like at the beginning of coming to Germany, and when I was especially going to work or something or needed motivation, that really helped. But slowly I'm also not listening that much anymore, but I'm following them, like what they're doing and everything.
Do you have another question for us?
This one, it's called the Deserted Island Desk. If you were stranded in your office, so let's assume you have an office or
Yeah.
you're
Home
working
office.
from home,
Yeah.
with only 3 items you could have on your desk, what would they be?
3 items. Like
3 items that you take on a deserted island with you.
So water. I drink a lot of water, so I need water. I need my phone.
How would you use your phone without internet?
Oh,
You
there
have
would be
to be logical about it.
Okay, there would be no internet. Then there's no point of taking.
Starlink.
Yeah, okay. No, we don't want to give any more money to Elon Musk.
I agree. Or I could just take like solar panels, right? So they can give me energy, and then I can convert it and then use it for something else.
That's actually clever.
Do you have any questions for us? Anything you wanted to ask the international office?
I would be interested to know, like, if I wanted to work at the university, and this is for myself, like, how would I get in?
For your case, you could check out our PhD programs.
Mm-hmm.
There's one related to architecture. It's fairly new that universities of applied sciences can allow students to get a PhD degree.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we would have to work with universities, but now it's possible. That's a way to get a position and also to look for PhD scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Some universities even have international PhD programs,
Yeah.
so where they specifically try to have international PhD students,
Mm-hmm.
even if you finished your master's in Germany. And if you were trying to find a position with our university, for example, in the supporting staff
Yeah.
department, then I'm sure our student service department is always looking for new staff members. Maybe the international office might get a new project.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're nearing the end of your degree, just be yourself
Mm-hmm.
as you did before.
Mm-hmm.
Go to
The different
direct-
departments,
Yeah, the
introduce
directors.
yourself.
That's
Yeah.
quite impressive.
Yes.
I also sometimes I get CVs in my email, and of course you don't take your time to really go through it. And
Mm-hmm.
just if in this moment you have an open position, then you might do that. But if you come personally, then it's a lasting impression. And but also all the universities, they are made to put in the open positions on their website. So this is where you check. So PhD centers, websites of the universities where I would check for a career opportunity, because a path into German science is hard. There's also legally a law that basically states that once you finished your master, you get like a maximum of 6 years to finish your PhD and to find your way into a permanent position at the university. And if you're not making it, then you can't be hired anymore by another university.
Our vocabulary of the day, it's called the Wissenschaftszeitgesetz.
Yes. And I always hope that they change it back again, but they're just going to make it worse, I believe. It's tough out there. If you want to have a career in science at a German university, it's a long road, and you're not guaranteed to get a professorship, and only the professorships are the positions where you have lifelong servitude at a university. So it's much easier to try to get into administration. But if teaching is what you're passionate about, then maybe that's the way to go, or to look at private universities. They're a little bit more flexible. That would be my advice, Florian. Would you like to add anything with the Wissenschaftszeitgesetz?
I think you've perfectly summarized it. I just want to maybe ask you some final questions for the day. Now that how long have you been here in total now?
19 months almost.
I just wanted to know, what do you like about living in Germany the most? What are some challenges? And what are things that you wish you knew before you came to Germany?
The thing that I like the most is my independence, especially as a woman, because I don't get that in my own country. There's like a societal pressure, and someone from my age should be married like 5 years ago.
And your parents keep phoning you, when do you get a boyfriend and when do you get married?
No
When do you
boyfriend.
come home?
No boyfriend. Right now, directly husband.
Oh, okay.
So my mother constantly is telling me that she's gonna put my profile into some marriage website somewhere.
We
and
want grandbabies.
I told her that she's not getting any, but like it's just an ongoing issue, because like there's a societal pressure, and also I cannot dress how I want to. I know it's a very silly thing, but it becomes a very big thing when you're a woman and you really like certain things and you cannot really do it. At night in the streets, anytime I want in Dessau, it's very, very safe, I would say. For the most part. Also, I'm very well respected everywhere. At least I would say people maintain general decency. They talk to you nicely. Even though people would sometimes say Germans have certain attitudes or something like that. But I think it's okay. There is basic decency, general respect. People don't necessarily have to be really friendly to me unless there is some need or something. But people are friendly. Like there's one time, for example, I went to Kaufland. I put my bottles in the old bottles, and I forgot to take out the
receipt.
The receipt.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. And then I went in. This lady, she saw me doing it. She took out the receipt. She found me inside from the shop, and then she said, "Did you put bottles there?" And I said, "Yeah." And then she gave me the receipt. It made me so emotional. It's so small, but I wanted to cry at that point. Like, she was so kind. Just the small things, the respect, the independence, the safety, altogether, this is what I like the most.
And what about some challenges?
As always, the language, overwhelming for me. I'm trying my best, but yeah, that's a challenge. And now another challenge is that I'm actually looking for switching my jobs and looking for something. That's another challenge as well. Every day I'm emailing so many people, and it's like every job description I have to read it, then I have to rewrite the cover letter, and then sometimes people want something different, so I have to alter my CV a little bit. It's becoming more and more like, some days I'm like in a lighter mood, but most of the days these days I'm like a bit losing faith a little bit. But yeah, that's a challenge.
So you're trying to get hired based on your bachelor degree?
Actually, my master's works too, because I'm studying it and it's almost finished, and I can it's in my CV that I'm doing it right now.
All right.
Then we only have one final remark or closing statement that we would like to ask you. You know, we want to add some interesting fact and value to our listeners, who are mostly students.
Yeah.
What would you recommend to a student who just recently started out at Anhalt University? What is something that they need to know?
I would say to them, first things first, don't be afraid. because I was really afraid when I first came here. I was terrified. I was scared to talk to people. I was scared to buy something. I'm the kind of person who would take the stairs if someone is on a lift. Sometimes, not all the time. I have very social days and sometimes I'm an introvert. So there's that. But I would tell the students, like, don't be afraid. Everything's going to be fine. And you made it here so far because you had some qualifications, and you will make it farther if you work hard enough and you trust on yourself. But don't be like too relaxed. Learn the language, keep on learning it, something you cannot avoid. Keep looking for better options all the time. Doesn't matter what kind of better options, just look for better options that works for you. Like, don't get too comfortable in where you are right now. Give yourself some faith, give yourself some benefit of the doubt, and you'll be fine. Believe in yourself, keep doing things, just figure out what works for you, and always keep looking for the next best option.
Thank you very much for that.
We really appreciate that you spent your time with us and that you gave us some insight on your experience in Dessau and at our university.
Thank you for being here today. And to our listeners, this was our second episode.
Please
And
reach out to us.
Reach out to us, yes, please. We're always looking for somebody who likes to come on the show. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you for being here. Voices of Anhalt. Voices of Anhalt is a podcast produced by the International Office of Anhalt University of Applied Sciences. If you would like to find out more about the International Career Service or our FITTER project, please write an email to fitter@hs-anhalt.de. Talk to you soon.